Okay, Bob, I've got a little demonstration video here for you of the Deluxe retract and gear door sequencer that I'm building for you. Um, Let me identify the parts and pieces here for you before I put it into action and let you see how it works. This is the main circuit board. You see the little blue potentiometer near the top there. That's how you increase or decrease the amount of delay that happens after the retracts have moved and before the gear door servos move. Right now I have it set very low just so that it doesn't slow our video down, but you can adjust it way up from where it is now until I think the maximum is about 20 seconds of delay between the movement of the retracts and the gear doors. That will accommodate slow moving electric brushed motor retracts. The four little switches there on the left hand side are how you determine some of the options that the circuit has, like whether or not the entire circuit's action is reversed. It's kind of like reversing the channel in your radio, but it allows you to reverse the action of the circuit to make it compatible with other things you may already have, like gear door controllers. Options like whether or not it's set up for an electric retracts or an air valve pneumatic retracts, whether or not the gear doors close after the gear are down, and finally whether or the direction in which the gear door servos rotate. That's just provided as a convenience to make it easier to configure the circuit to work with your model depending on how your servos are positioned. It's also got landing lights that come on automatically when the gear are down, and that little LED on the left hand side of the board there, that's a yellow LED that will come on to indicate that the board is in the gear down position, and that's helpful sometimes in setup to know what the circuit is doing. This is your input. I've got one of my servo testers here that I'm using to provide the signal that would normally go to your receiver, and then here are your three outputs and the three servos. The servo with the red arm on it is going to operate the gear door servo. That's the gear door servo. The one in the middle is the alternate servo that you requested, and the top one is going to function as the retract controller. Now this middle one here, I'd like to talk with you about what that servo is doing in your model. I'd like to know what model you are building so that I can tell whether or not this is a circuit that's going to appeal maybe to a lot of other modelers. I've never had anybody ask me for this particular configuration, but if it's something that I think other modelers can use or will want, I'd like to put this on my website as an option. So I'd like to find out what that alternate servo does and what kind of model this is for. But okay, let me show you now how the circuit operates. When you first turn the plane on and apply power to the controller, it's not going to do anything. It's not going to move the gear doors or any of the servos. It's not going to cycle the retracts. It doesn't matter where the gear switch is when you first turn the unit on. It's only going to look at the gear switch and make note of its position, but it's not going to move anything. And I have found that to be very important in making these compatible with all brands, because if you don't do it that way, there's too many times when you may turn the plane on without paying attention to where your gear door switch is, and it can cause it to move the gear doors before you're ready or cycle the retracts before you're ready. There may be an obstruction, something in the way. It may be sitting in a stand or something like that, and it can strip a servo, tear up a gear door, something like that. So when you first power it up, it's not going to do anything other than make note of the position of the gear door switch. Now I'm going to toggle the servo tester, which would be the same as you flipping your switch, and watch your servos here. You'll see that the first thing that happens is the gear door servo opens, the alternate servo rotates, and the retracts go to the next position, and the gear door shuts, and now you've got landing lights on. You are in the gear down position here. Okay, now we're going to move the switch the other way. The gear door will open. Now the retracts move, then the alternate servo, and then the gear doors close. Now, if I understood what you told me correctly, that's the sequence you want. We'll go back the other way. Gear doors first, then the alternate servo, then the retract cycle, and then the gear door shuts, and that's gear up. Landing lights are on. We're going to go back. That's gear down. Now we're going to go gear up, and you'll see that the action of everything has changed and your lights go off. So let's go through it one more time. We're going to give it the gear down command. There's the doors, alternate servo, the retract cycle. After the delay, the gear doors close, the lights come on, and we give it gear up. Gear door first, then the retracts, then the alternate servo, and then the gear door shut and the lights go off. So I'm going to upload this to YouTube and send you the link. Let you take a look at it, make sure it's doing what you want in the order you want. And then if everything looks good, I'll send you a PayPal request and we'll get it boxed up and headed your way. Thanks, Bob.